Hey there, and welcome to Antifragile Faith, where we practice Christian mindfulness by taking a little time each day to train our minds by focusing on our breath, quieting our hearts, and turning to God, training ourselves to become more familiar with His presence and voice. I think one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of people is the long-term perspective that this takes. Cultivating this state of mind, this state of our hearts towards God in a perpetual way takes a lot of time. And I don't mean individually today, like taking an hour. It can be just a little bit of time. 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, even just a couple moments throughout your day. When I say a long time, I mean over the months and years. Now there's another word for this, patience, but sometimes I don't like using that because, well, frankly, I'm not very good at it. So reframing ourselves to take a long-term perspective, I think is really, really key. So, with that in mind, let's begin again today by taking a few deep breaths. And on the next breath, gently closing your eyes, letting your breath return to its natural rhythm, and allowing your focus to just rest on your breath. We often want to control our breath when we're focusing on it, but try to really let yourself breathe naturally and let your attention travel with your breathing, almost as if it's lightly touching it. Try to become familiar with your breath here, particularly since we're going to continue using the breath as an anchor, anchoring our focus, anchoring our attention. And once you feel comfortable with this, quieting your heart and turning to God. Just becoming aware of His presence. Again, recognizing His presence, becoming familiar with His presence. More likely than not, you'll find your mind wandering off and getting distracted. Note that that's perfectly normal. It's actually quite natural. So, when you notice this, bring yourself back, becoming familiar again with the breath, quieting your heart, and turning back to God. I want to give you a bigger chunk of time today to just sit there in quiet with God, recognizing Him, becoming aware of and familiar with His presence. So again, if you catch yourself somewhere else, note it, bring your focus, your attention back to your breath, quiet your heart, and turn to God. Make that as seamless of a transition back to Him as you can. The more you practice this, the more natural and effortless it will become. It's that long-term perspective coming in again. Consistent practice. I want you to spend these last few moments beginning again. if when my voice came back in, you found that you had been somewhere else, just begin again. Come back to your breath, quiet your heart, and turn to God. And now taking a couple big, deep breaths as we come to a close today. I just want to reemphasize again the importance of taking that long-term frame of reference, that long-term approach. It's so important, and while it won't remove frustration or irritation, it can help with that a lot, because day to day, you're going to have off days where your mind is just all over the place. But if you can take a step back and look at that long-term perspective, you can see the trajectory of your work, of your process, of your practice. But if you can take this long-term approach and make a practice like this habitual, you really can learn to see God everywhere and in everyone. And with that, I hope to see you tomorrow.